the source of all. To weave everything into a grand, unified picture, imagine reality as a vast, interconnected tapestry, where every thread and pattern is a manifestation of one fundamental essence, the source. This source is the ineffable, infinite consciousness that exists beyond time, space, and form, and from it, everything emanates. The source, the ineffable beginning. Incomprehensible essence, the source is beyond human understanding, a pure, infinite consciousness that cannot be fully described or contained. It is the ultimate reality, the foundation of all that is. The dreamer of realities, this source, in its boundless potential, dreams all possible realities into existence. These dreams are not separate from the source, rather, they are extensions or expressions of it, unfolding in countless forms and dimensions. Fractal reality, the infinite manifestation. Fractals and self-similarity. As the source emanates into creation, it does so in a fractal manner. This means that every aspect of reality, no matter how large or small, contains the blueprint of the whole. Whether we're talking about galaxies, black holes, quarks, or even the structure of consciousness, everything reflects the same fundamental patterns. Subjective perspectives. Each fractal expression is a unique perspective of the source experiencing itself. Every being, every reality, and every moment is a distinct yet interconnected part of this grand fractal, providing the source with infinite viewpoints. The holographic universe, unity in diversity. Holographic nature. Reality is holographic, meaning that each part of it, no matter how small, contains the whole. The universe, from its vast cosmic structures to the smallest particles, is a hologram of the source. Every piece reflects the entire tapestry of existence. Interconnected realities. Within this holographic universe, there are layers or densities of reality. These layers can be understood as different vibrational states or dimensions, each one a self-similar reflection of the others, like different frequencies of the same melody. Here is the details on how the emanations are created. Electromagnetism and the ether, the dynamic force. Ether. As the fundamental medium, the ether is the invisible, still and infinite medium from which all vibrations arise. It is both the field of infinite potential stillness and the source of infinite speed vibration. Within this field, the interplay of forces gives rise to all phenomena. Electrostatic and electromagnetic dynamics. Electrostatic energy can be seen as the initial perturbation or potential that emerges from the ether, a timeless, still energy that pops into existence. When this energy begins to move, it creates electromagnetism, a dynamic interplay of electric and magnetic fields, which forms the basis of all matter and energy in our universe. The cosmic dance, creation and destruction. Constructive and destructive interference within the electromagnetic field. Waves of energy interact, creating patterns of constructive and destructive interference. This cosmic dance generates the structures and phenomena we observe, from galaxies to atoms, through the balance of creation and destruction. This is also the same way we create true holograms. Black holes and galaxies. Black holes represent regions where dielectric centripetal forces overtake magnetic forces, creating areas where matter disappears from our observable universe. Conversely, galaxies are regions where magnetic centrifugal forces dominate dielectricity, creating the dynamic dance of stars and matter. Formation of plasma dust. If we take the idea that light, particularly high-energy photons, can ionize matter and create plasma, it's plausible that over time, these ionized particles can recombine, cool down and form dust particles. These dust particles are the seeds for more complex structures, eventually leading to solid matter. In this view, light plays a fundamental role in the creation and transformation of matter, especially in the early universe where high-energy photons could ionize primordial gases, leading to the formation of plasma and, eventually, matter. Hydrogen as compressed light. Hydrogen formation. Hydrogen, being the simplest and most abundant element in the universe, can be thought of as the first stable form of matter that emerges from the cooling and compression of the early universe's plasma state. If you consider matter as a form of highly compressed energy and light as a form of energy, hydrogen could indeed be seen as a stable compression of energy. In the extreme conditions of galactic jets and black holes, we observe processes where energy in the form of gamma rays and other radiation can give rise to particles, including hydrogen. Galactic jets and black holes. Hydrogen and gamma radiation. In galactic jets, which are often associated with black holes, matter is accelerated to near light speeds and ejected from the regions around black holes. These jets can contain hydrogen, other particles, and high-energy radiation like gamma rays. This observation supports the idea that black holes, through extreme compression and energy processes, can produce fundamental elements like hydrogen. Gamma radiation, being extremely high-energy light, might represent a state of matter or energy before it transitions into more stable forms like hydrogen. Hypothesis of more compressed states of matter. Beyond hydrogen, if hydrogen is the first element we can detect, there might theoretically be other forms of compressed energy or matter that we cannot easily observe because they exist in conditions or states that are beyond our current ability to detect. These could be forms of matter that exist under extreme compression, potentially even beyond what we consider as normal baryonic matter. Such states could be involved in processes that occur in the most extreme environments, like the centers of black holes or during the early moments of the Big Bang. The fractal holographic universe. Perception and reality. Our reality as a projection. The universe we perceive is a fractal holographic projection, a complex interplay of electromagnetic forces manifesting through the patterns of the source's fractal design. Our brains, as receivers of this information, interpret these patterns into the reality we experience. The brain as a receiver and decoder. The decoding brain. The brain receives and interprets the fractal hologram of reality by processing incoming sensory data as patterns of electrical signals. These signals are decoded by the brain to form a coherent perception of the world. The brain functions as a predictive machine, constantly comparing new sensory information with stored memories and expectations to predict what will happen next. This predictive process is crucial for making sense of the complex and ever-changing environment we experience. At the most basic level, all of this processing occurs through electrical signals transmitted between neurons. The left hemisphere of the brain is often associated with linear, logical processing, breaking down information into sequential parts to create a structured understanding of reality. In contrast, the right hemisphere is more holistic and automatic, integrating information to perceive patterns, emotions, and spatial relationships. The frontal lobe, particularly the prefrontal cortex, is key to our sense of self. It integrates information from different parts of the brain to form our identity, manage decision-making, and control social behaviors, giving us a conscious sense of who we are in relation to the world. This complex interplay between various brain regions allows us to navigate and interpret the fractal holographic nature of reality. Consciousness as the key. Consciousness is the source experiencing itself through all these layers. In higher states of awareness, such as near-death experiences or psychedelic states, consciousness may shift its perspective to higher densities or parallel realities, experiencing different aspects of the fractal hologram. Different densities and parallel realities. Layers of the dream. Vibrational densities. Each reality or dimension can be seen as a different vibrational density, with higher densities being less material and more energetic or conscious. Parallel realities might be different branches of the same fractal structure, representing different possibilities or perspectives within the same cosmic dream. The illusion of solidity. Even the densest realities, which feel more real than real, are ultimately illusory compared to the absolute reality of the source. They are transient manifestations within the grand dream, appearing solid and separate but ultimately woven from the same infinite fabric. The grand picture, a living universe. A living, breathing creation, the universe is not static but alive, constantly inhaling and exhaling through the dynamic interplay of forces, like the breathing of a cosmic organism. The sacred patterns we see, from the flower of life to Metatron's cube, which our ancient ancestors have been trying to remind us of, are the geometries that underlie this living universe, guiding the manifestation of all forms and experiences, but unity and diversity. All realities, all experiences, and all beings are interconnected expressions of the same source. They are not separate but part of a grand, unified whole, a living, breathing expression of the ineffable essence that underlies all existence. The absolute reality. The ineffable dreamer, ultimately, all of reality, with its infinite layers, dimensions, and experiences, is the source dreaming itself into being. The absolute reality is the ineffable source, the infinite consciousness that dreams all of existence into being, experiencing itself through the interplay of fractal, holographic, and electromagnetic forces. Transcendence of the illusion. No matter how vivid or real any particular reality feels, it is as ephemeral as a dream. The true, unchanging reality is the source itself, the ultimate essence from which all things arise and to which all things return. In this grand picture, everything electromagnetism, consciousness, fractals, parallel realities, and the experiences of different densities are interconnected aspects of the same fundamental reality. The source is both the dreamer and the dream, creating and experiencing an infinite, fractal, holographic universe, all of which ultimately points back to the ineffable essence that is beyond all form and understanding. How are we experiencing separation? There is no separate, individuated self. The appearance of separation is merely an illusion born of ignorance. Your true identity, as well as everyone else's, is the source. Ignorance veils the true nature of the self, leading the person to identify with the ego, mind, and body. These attributes are mistaken for the self, but the real self is the source. This is akin to the classic snake rope metaphor in dim light. A rope may be mistaken for a snake. Once light is shined upon it, it is revealed to be a rope. Similarly, once ignorance is dispelled, our true nature as the source becomes clear. The illusion of separate selves is further compounded by the pure consciousness of the source being reflected in the intellects of different people. This is like sunlight shining into various pots of water, creating the illusion of separate lights in each pot, when in fact the light comes from a single source. Thus, the answer to how pure consciousness, which has all mind, is channeled into a mind-body is that it never truly is. The source reflects in countless forms, reinforcing the illusion of separation, but in reality, there is only the source. How can unity be truly experienced? Throughout history, the core message of unity has echoed across different cultures and religions. Yet, over time, humanity often distorts and reshapes this profound truth, obscuring its original meaning. From the Jamaican Rasta speaking of oneness, to the Chinese Tao, the Hindu understanding of the source Brahman, the Gnostic Christians' God the All, the Egyptian god Atum, the Jewish Kabbalistic mystics, the Muslim Sufi mystics, the shamans with their psychedelic rituals, the Buddhist monks in deep meditation, the quantum physicist coming to the understanding of the quantum unified field, and the countless amount of people who have had a near-death experience. Each of these paths converges on the same fundamental truth. When the mind is quieted, when the incessant mental activity is stilled through any chosen practice, a profound innerstanding emerges, an understanding that arises from deep within. In this state, the observer merges with the observed, revealing that you are, that the source of all. This is the true experience of unity, where the distinctions of self dissolve and only the one remains. The consequences of ignoring this message. The consequences of ignoring this profound understanding are far-reaching and severe. As a society, our ignorance of this message leads to dire outcomes. Despite the abundance of food in the world, nearly half the population goes hungry. Wars are waged against one another, but in truth, these are battles that can never be won, for in fighting others, we are only fighting ourselves. Furthermore, our failure to treat our neighbors and all living beings as family is a symptom of this ignorance. Once the truth is realized, the very idea of causing harm to another person or animal becomes utterly inconceivable. Upanishad 2.2.11. The One, the Self, luminous and pure, that dwells in all living things, is to be realized as that which the mind does not reach, which is unthinkable, which is finer than the finest, and more distant than the most distant. Those who realize this self, their knots of ignorance are destroyed, and they achieve liberation. Book of Thomas, saying 50. Jesus said, "If they say to you, 'Where did you come from?' say to them, 'We came from the light,' the place where the light came into being by itself and was revealed through their image. We are its children, the chosen of the living Father." Written and edited by Source.